Right, apologies about that. There was an issue with the stream. All sorted out now, so time has gone by and these drivers have got, well, if they if they're not some point through their lap, they will not have enough time to complete it. 7 minutes will do you about, well, half of Sector 1 and then the rest of the lap. So if we look at the track map, Sector 1 ends, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's around about where Zhirayr is now, so if you're past that point on the left side of the track where Zhirayr is, L.DER, if you're not sure, then those guys that are on the second half of the track should be comfortable to complete a lap. If not, then that's it. We won't get enough time, because as soon as the timer goes to 0, that's it. It will end qualifying and it will move us on to the warm-up session. So as it stands at the moment, Michelle Kasperink is on pole position with a sub 9 minute lap. Tonga Guardia in second place at the moment with Emil Holmberg third. Derek Robb in fourth, a good comeback from him. Alex Foyle in fifth. Navalov in sixth. Zhirayr is in seventh, and the first and only time setter of the Mustangs is Øyvind Andersen. But we look at Michelle Kasperink, and believe it or not, he's gone even quicker at the moment. As long as he can hook up Sector 3, he will go quicker. Hard to believe that. It's, I believe the world record is somewhere around 8 minutes 50. And Ian Deeney has set a lap time, puts himself in 7th place there. Ian Deeney, very new to Raceroom. He's in the pits now. He's in the Mercedes. It kind of looks like we're looking at the Audi over there, but he's in a Mercedes. Has set a lap time. Not bad from him. He gets himself into the top, well, the top 7 anyway, into the top 10 of qualifying. Drivers who are nearing finishing their lap. Martin Stabile, where is he gone? Where's he gone? There he is. Now that's 13.9 off the pace of Kasperink. And if his time finished there and then, that would put him 5th place. So we'll have to see how he gets on in Sector 3 here. Looking very, very unstable through the fast complex there. Now he comes on to the main straight to finish his lap. How will Martin get on? Will it be top 5? I believe it isn't. No, it isn't. He lost a lot of time in Sector 3 there. That puts him 7th. But nonetheless, that's top 10 in qualifying. That gets him into the top 10 on the grid. Who else is approaching the end of their lap? We've got Jacobsen, first of the time setters. Will go to Jacobsen. Kasperink, it's going to him because he's on purple splits. But Jacobsen looks set to be setting a time here. 10.9 off. That's enough to put, well, if it stayed as it were there, that would put him 3rd. But of course, Kasperik's flying, so he's probably, Jacobsen's here going to probably lose a bit more time. If we look at the other sectors and compare, he'll probably put himself about 4th maybe. So, no, not 4th, sorry. He'll probably put him about 5th or 6th. We'll have to see. Oh, unstable going through the S's there into the final braking zone of the lap. Nice and neat round here. You do not want to mess up here. There's a bit of damage on his front bumper, which could suggest there's been drama on the out lap or on this lap. And across the line, 9 minutes 30. I believe that was an invalidated lap, though. That's a shame from Jacobsen. That will mean he does not get much higher than 15th at the moment. It's put him on the grid. Who else is about to finish their lap time? So there's only... I don't think Zhirayr going to end up finishing his lap. So there's three people there who could finish their lap. One of them is Roy Plummer. Just about to finish his lap, in fact. Good timing. Let's see if this is a valid lap. 13.5 off in Sector 2, 28 off there. It puts him 8th place. He gets onto the top 10 as it stands. Horgom is about to finish. So is William Foyle. William Foyle does get it into 3rd place, and Horgom gets it into 5th place. Ooh, that was cutting it fine from William Foyle and Horgom there, but they get it into onto the standings anyway. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to. In fact, no one else will finish a lap. Jonas Torsonen is out there, but I assume he's just going to be getting some practice laps in. He joined the server rather late, to be fair to him, but he won't have enough time to complete his lap here, and he will not set a time. But him and Roy Plummer, the only drives out on track. Roy Plummer, I'm assuming, is just going out to get a bit more testing in. Maybe a few setup changes here and there. Maybe a test of... the pit stops, because these guys will inevitably make pit stops during this race. It'll be tyre changes, fuel refills. And these drives are on double tyre wear, which means from 100% to 0%, it's not many laps. It's a long lap, bear in mind, so it does feel like quite a drop in potential in these tyres. But Roy Plummer seems to be going for some testing here. Jonas Torsonen is still out on track, getting his testing in one of the very few Audis out in the field today. There's him and Ben Sisko. And the Audi was a very popular car when we run this series some time ago. But yeah, no one's going to set a time, so we may as well go through the standings as Raceroom forces us to. Michael Kasperink takes pole position with a sub 9-minute lap. Lee Horn also sub 9 minutes, but nowhere near Kasperink. But in terms of the Nordschleife, 6 seconds, bit more like 6/10 on another track. Lee Horn will take 2nd, the other side of the front row. William Foyle will take 3rd in qualifying in the Mercedes. Tonga Guardia, his teammate, in fact, of Crest Autosport, in 4th place. Christian Horgom will take 5th, the first of the Mustangs. Emil Holmberg, 6th. Derek Robb in the Mercedes will line up 7th, and I'll run through the standings just because I can see him. You can't see him anymore, sadly. Alex Foyle took 8th place. 9th place was Navlov, very appropriately put the camera on him. Roy Plummer took 10th. Martin Stabile took 11th. Ian Deeney in 12th. Lucas Zhirayr in 13th. Oyvind Andersen in 14th. 15th, Alexander Jacobsen. Ben Payne, 16th. I don't think he set a time. Ben Sisko did not set a time in the Audi. He will line up 17th. 18th will be Kevin Smith in the BMW. And Jonas Torsonen in 19th in the Audi. So Kasperink will take pole position of the 4th edition of the Exiled Endurance Series. Lee Horn, who hasn't had much luck in these Endurance Series thus far, he had a good showing at the GT3s, but I think he only just managed a top 5. In the Spa 50, I think he managed in the top 10, and he was unable to participate in the P1, P2 Endurance at Daytona, sadly. But we'll be looking for redemption here. Now, this race is all about concentration. The tyres go off so quickly in these cars, and these cars will probably do about 3 or 4 laps before they will need to come in the pits, which doesn't sound like much, but that's about 21 minutes if you look at the lap times. So it isn't too bad, and that's how much these cars do on fuel. They're big drinkers of fuel, and the tyres are on 2 times wear, so that their grip will plummet for these guys after a lap or 2. And that 3rd lap will be very shaky. We'll have to keep an eye out for everyone on that 3rd lap. And of course, the opening lap, more notably on the Grand Prix circuit, there will be a lack of grip due to the tyres being cold. It takes a long time for these tyres to warm up. So it'll be very entertaining on that first lap. Hopefully not drama in the way of people getting taken out or plummeting into the wall. But we'll just have to see. There'll be certain cars which will probably be better on colder tyres. The ones with probably more weight. I mean, the BMW, we did mention earlier, the BMW is one of the lighter cars, but is one of the cars with the least brake horsepower on it. So it is nowadays the all-rounder. It's the one that's got the best sort of ability to get around the corner drifting but not losing it. And the Mustang is quite unpredictable in terms of grip, but when you do line it up really well, it is very, very quick. But it's a very BMW-dominated field at the moment. The top two in qualifying, the two starting on the front row of the grid, are in BMWs. The next row is taken up by two Mercedes. But Mercedes and BMW are the most popular cars on the grid today. As did kind of mention earlier, but we have two Audis and two Mustangs, no Opels, and the rest are pretty much all Mercedes. There's 5 Mercedes, in fact, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 BMWs out there today. One of them being Lee Horn. In the Tic Tac livery. Quite a cool looking car, that. So 1 minute to go until the race starts. It's a 2-hour endurance, to remind you. 2 hours of the Nordschleife. We'll see about 13 to 14 laps from these guys. We will see about 3 pit stops from each driver. Maybe more. It depends if they want to go for a short stint or longer stint. It really all depends if you want to risk doing, or not risk, but if you want to do an extra lap on degraded tyres. Maybe push the tank a little bit harder to, or a little bit fuller really, to do an extra lap. There's a lot of risk at play with doing that, of course, those kind of strategies. These drivers also have a choice of soft and hard tyres, hard tyre being the one that lasts the longest. Now, you might see some guys starting off on the hards. I mean, I can see Lee Horn, William Foyle and Cashbrink, the top 3 in qualifying, have all gone out on warm-up on hard tyres. So that's an interesting thing to notice for us there. I will keep you posted on who's on tyres. In fact, we might be able to see. We might be able to show you on the timing board. It might just show you. So we are about to line up on the grid for our 4th endurance. This is the Saturday Series DTM 92 at the Nordschleife 24-hour layout. And the drivers line up on the grid, ready to go. 2-hour race. Approximately 13 to 14, maybe even 15 laps these drivers will take. Who will be leading at the end of the first corner? Who will be leading at the end of the final corner on the final lap? We'll find out at approximately 4 o'clock, or 4 minutes past 4 today, UK time. Still waiting for one driver to line up on the grid. That was Horgom, I think. And here we go. Lights are red. We're away for the DTM 92 at the Nordschleife. A good start from Cashbrink. Not very good on the second getaway there, but look at that Mustang come through the middle. That's Horgom. Has streamed through into the lead. A brilliant pull off the start. 3 wide going down into the first corner between Lee Horn, Cashbrink and William Foyle by the looks of it. Into the chicane. 3 wide still. William Foyle slots it back behind Cashbrink, and a spin from Horgom there. Second corner and Horgom has spun it. Drops way down the order after such a good start. Cashbrink is back in the lead with Emil Holmberg. A brilliant start from him to get himself into second place now ahead of Lee Horn. Lee Horn there slots in 3rd place. William Foyle right behind him. William Foyle's brother is right behind him in 5th place. A good start from Alex. in the BMW, as he's got Tonga Guardia looking to redeem himself. He's dropped 2 places. Will he get back in front of Alex coming around the banked hairpin? No, he won't. But will he get a run out? He will. He will get himself alongside Alex Foyle. Not quite a good enough run out. Here we are on board with Lee Horn, battling with Emil Holmberg. Kasprink is going away already from these guys, but it's a good move so far from Lee Horn. William Foyle right behind him. William Foyle right behind him. Lee Horn has the inside, but Emil Holmberg hangs on. We're approaching the end of the Grand Prix circuit. Holmberg still on the inside. Good battling from these two on the opening lap. William Foyle looking behind them. He's there in the Mercedes, looking to get past. Oh, he's going to make it 3 wide. Lee Horn goes slightly wide. A little bit of contact there, I think, but William Foyle gets himself into second place on that straight. Brilliant stuff from the Brit. Gets into second place as they approach the Nordschleife section. Here we go, round the corner, and that's a spin from Emil Holmberg. Not what you wanted, and he won't be able to recover from that very quickly. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh no, that wasn't very good at all. And Dereshki will not be happy about that. He's the one who went straight into Holmberg there. There's nothing he could do about that. He was just a spectator. Holmberg probably didn't see him, though, in fairness to him. But Kasprink away already in the lead. It's a 3-second lead already ahead of William Foyle, who will have Lee Horn hot on his heels around this lap, I presume. Or William Foyle a bit wide there. It's going to be a lot of that in this race so far. On this opening lap, excuse me. Derek Robb, 5th place there. I'm not entirely sure where he started. It's not telling me where he started, but he's in 5th place. Good stuff from him. I don't even think he started in the top 10, I believe. If you do remember where Derek Robb started, please let me know in the comments. But brilliant from him to get himself into 5th place so far. The Exiled racer himself, looking to get past Tonga Guardia on one of the fastest sections of the track now. You can see Lee Horn and William Foyle are very close up ahead. Here goes Derek Robb. Airborne over the bank, and Tonga Guardia just shuts off the inside. There was enough room to get across, but good battling from these two. Solid racing from the Argentinian of Tonga Guardia so far. But Alex Foyle right behind Derek Robb now as well. Horgone back there, he spun on turn 2, but he's only there in 7th, so he's not too far back. Jonas Tursinen is up to 9th already from 19th on the grid. Brilliant start from him. He's got a bit of a wonky donkey front bumper, but he's still going strong by the looks of it. He might have got himself through all the carnage that happened on the Grand Prix circuit as he goes a little bit wide there. He's got to be careful not to take out the driver in front. He has. He's taken out Roy Plummer. It was purely accidental, but nonetheless he's taken him out. The next gen driver has lost a few positions there to Tursinen and is still going at it. Jakobsen only a little bit in front, actually. Jakobsen might have messed up that corner there. But let's go back to this battle up here. Foyle right behind Derek Robb. Derek Robb's lost a little bit from Tonga Guardia on the last minute or so, and Horgone was caught up with this battle for 4th place. Lee Horn is still close-ish to William Foyle, and William Foyle is in fact catching up with Kasprink already. It's down to 1.5 seconds behind. This is a brilliant opening lap from William Foyle. He started 3rd, granted, but he found himself falling back in the order and then going back up the order, and he's slightly catching up with Kasprink. Let's see if he can hook it up and catch him. Big battle for 4th going on here, as mentioned. Tonga Guardia is a little bit clear of Derek Robb, but we've got Horgone looking to the inside of Alex Foyle, and he has to pull out of it at the last moment. Foyle dropping back a bit from Derek Robb by the looks of it. But Horgone is going to look to get past Alex Foyle very quickly. I mean, the Mustang, you've got to be real careful with it. I mean, he's so quick down the straight. Look at him just pull alongside the BMW, and he's already passed a little bit of a track cut there. Alex Foyle's not going to give up. He's on the inside, gets back past him. Now, that's the difference in performance between these cars. The BMW is much better in the corners than the Mustang, but the Mustang just pulls away. On the straights, look at it go. We're watching on board with Alex Foyle in the BMW, and that Mustang has got such a greater horsepower. But in the braking zones, you will see Foyle close up, and in fact, under slipstream, once the BMW gets up to speed, it reels in that Mustang. We have to cut to the front pack shortly after this, as William Foyle is within nearly within half a second of Kasparink, and Lee Horn is just right behind them. Oh, Horgom goes a little bit wide, braking zone into the corner here. Foyle closing up under brakes, and that is what I was talking about. That is the difference in ability with these cars, and that Mustang very, very shaky, and that is a slowdown for someone. That might be Lee Horn. Lee dropping well back there, and that might have been a slowdown for him, or a spin, I'm not entirely sure. Not sure what happened. We can't get a replay of that, sadly. Raceroom doesn't allow it, but William Foyle has dropped back a little bit in the last few seconds from Kasparink, and Tonga Guardia's not far behind them at all. We'll have to keep an eye on William Foyle, see if he can reel back in the Dutch driver, as Horgom, who got himself up to 5th place past William Foyle and the recovering Lee Horn, is closing in on Derek Robb, who's in a very, very impressive 4th place at the moment. Brilliant start from him on his return to Raceroom. In the very slick livery of the Mercedes, the Karcher livery. I think that was the Jacques Lafitte car. Jacques Lafitte, you remember him from the Formula 1 days of the 70s, 80s, I think. Might be wrong about that. The Horgom right behind him. Alex Foyle. Oh, and that's Lee Horn getting well out of shape there. Lee Horn, after a very impressive qualifying, not looking impressive on this opening lap as he spins it. Oh, this is a disaster of a first lap for Lee Horn so far. Got to get it away quickly before the others catch up, and that wasn't to plan, I assume, from Lee Horn as he recovers. We're looking at Navaluf because it says he's battling with Stabile. He might be catching up with Stabile. Nothing to report on just yet, but Stabile has done well. I think he started 17th from my memory, and he's up to 10th already. Good stuff from him so far. Tursunen, I did mention 19th to 9th so far, the biggest mover, I believe. But going back to the front, William Foyle is losing the gap from Kasparink in front. It's now over 4 seconds. Kasparink has got it hooked up. The tyres are warmed up. Now, Foyle and Kasparink are both on hard tyres. Tonga Guardia and Derek Robb, 3rd and 4th, are on soft tyres. So now they've warmed up, they probably will be quicker than the hard tyre runners. But there's no saying you can run... There's no saying in the rules you have to run soft or hard. You can run any tyre you want. It's all depending on how long you want the stint to last, and what kind of strategy you want to run. But the thing is about the soft tyres, when they will go off quicker. So you might find if Tonga Guardia starts dropping off, his tyres will be like below 50% degradation, or over 50% degradation, should I say. That's when these tyres tend to fall off the cliff, as it's known. Now, these guys are about to complete the first lap of the race. Kasparink comes around the final set of corners onto the front straight. For 2 corners, he lost the lead, but so far it's lights out to, as it stands, leading the race. Kasparink with a 9 minutes 12. Now, it was a very shaky first lap, so we'll have to see how he gets on. But Foyle actually reeled in Kasparink a lot. It might have been on that front straight that the BMW lost it. Foyle's within 1.5 seconds now. Bit of a battle going on between Stabile, Navaluf and Tursunen. Tursunen's got a bit of damage there. The bonnet's lifted up a little bit. That might be hampering his pace. But Stabile gets himself into 10th place past Navaluf on the straight there. But will Navaluf come back under braking going into turn 1? Yes, he will try and give it a go. Stabile gives him room, gives him plenty of room. That was pretty safe going from Stabile. There's a little nudge on the back of Navaluf. Luckily, he didn't spin him. These cars are very sensitive to spinning with a little bit of contact. Emil Holmberg close on Lee Horn's heels. Lee Horn, bit of a disastrous first lap. He'll want to get his head down and catch back up. He's on hard tyres, as is Emil Holmberg. Now we have to look back here because Tursunen spun it in the forward curve. Oh, and he's getting that Audi a little bit twisty as he rejoins the track. And in fact, Stabile and Navaluf swap positions again. Roy Plummer gets up the inside of Jonas Tursunen to take 12th place. Tursunen looking a little bit shaky there. It was a good first lap, but not a good second lap from the Finn. We'll see if he can make up a bit more ground as the race goes by. That damage might not be helping him. Oh, and Navalov has spun. Coming out of the S's. Hopefully hasn't done too damage to his car. Damage is not fully realistic. We've done that for the sake of it being in endurance, but he has lost out to the top 10. Stabile will get himself into 9th now. So I believe the biggest mover now will go to Stabile or Derek Robb. Derek Robb looking good there in 4th, out on his own at the moment. Now those difference times you can see on the left side of your screen in the standings tower, they're relative to the position in front. So he's 2.3 off Tonga Guardia, not the leader. William Foyle, now it's fluctuating his gap between him and Kasperink. He reels him in on the faster sections, he loses him on the twisty sections. Characteristics of the car coming into play there potentially. There's an ask of what happened to Ian Deeney. He is out already. It might have been too much damage, but Ian Deeney is out of the race. Such a shame from him so early on. And we're now down to 18 runners. Just to cut back, there's a little bit of a battle here for 11th place. Roy Plummer has got himself back into a higher position. Tursunen going wide again. He's might be really struggling with the brakes there. The Audi has got the weakest brakes of these cars, I seem to remember. And he's going very wide again. Very wide. And Navalov will not be enjoying this. There we go. He shoves it up the inside to try and get past the Finn. Sweden versus Finland here. That whole Scandinavian rivalry. Tursunen looking the inside again, and Navalov shuts him off. Tursunen was very determined to get in front of him there, but Navalov stays in front and they both come out spin free. But the Audi will have the upper hand of horsepower, top end, all of that down this section here. Oh, Navalov shutting the door on Tursunen every opportunity he can. Tursunen gets alongside. He goes off track to try and get it. Oh no, and into the left-hander. Wide goes Navalov. This is a very argy-bargy battle between them two, but Navalov comes out okay, but it's a big, big battle between them two. We cut to Jakobsen, who's right on the heels, very similar, in fact, the exact same livery as Martin Stabile in front of him. Roy Plummer's right behind him. This is the battle for 9th place. Martin Stabile brakes going into this slow, twisty section, and Tursunen has just appeared to this battle. All that pace from the Audi paying off as he catches up with these 3 BMWs in front of him. Very carefully getting through, I was going to say, but Roy Plummer put on the gas a little bit too early and spun it there. I don't think there was contact. I'm pretty sure there wasn't, but he spins it after what was looking like a good comeback into the top 10. It's gone away a little bit. Martin Stabile back with him. There's a big gap between him and the position in front of Emil Holmberg, 22 seconds in fact. But this is the battle for 9th, and it looks like it's going to be the battle for 9th for a while. Stabile loses shape and gets into the wall. My word, this is so difficult for these drivers by the looks of it. Jakobsen now takes 9th place, and Tursunen goes wide. It's Navalov and Tursunen again making contact there. Oh, and another block from Tursunen. This is not very... this is not ideal for either of them. Oh, and that's a spin from Stabile, and Tursunen goes straight into him. Tursunen will get more damage to that front, more than what he needed, and Navalov gets back in front, but Martin Stabile loses 9th place now. It's a big, big battle between these guys, and it seems to be down to control of the car more than anything. We will keep an eye on the guys up front, but this is Tonga Guardia. He's lost a little bit of ground from William Foyle in the last couple of minutes, but it's 2.5 behind him. Derek Robb not far behind Tonga either. Derek, he's having a stormer here on his return to Raceroom. We'll see if he can catch up with Tonga and William more as the race goes by. But William is 2.5 away from Kasperink. The gap between him and Kasperink, as I said, fluctuates all the time, but it all depends on what section of the track they're on. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Just to look at guys further back, Ben Payne is lining up a very, very good lap. He's got Ben Sisko right behind him, but he's catching up with Carl Smith by the looks of it. I've kept an eye on that gap, but sorry, not Carl Smith, Kevin Smith. New driver to Exiled for driving for Next Gen. He's catching up with Tursunen now. He's Tursinen must have spun again because he's lost out to Dereshki. Alex Foyle is out of the race already. Something's happened to him. He has retired from this race. It might be too much damage, but a shame from him to drop out so early as well. Øyvind Andersen is in 17th at the moment. We'll have to keep an eye on him to see if he starts catching up with Ben Sisko. In fact, there was a big difference in times between him and Ben Sisko on the previous lap, but he's only 2 behind him, so he could well be catching the Jamaican driver. Frank Temnant, he's otherwise known as. And he's catching up with Ben Payne ever so slightly, and these guys will want to get their heads down and try and get up to that top 10. Top 10 will be a target for most of these drivers here today. And that's Carl Smith, Ben Payne, and Stabile is in the wall. He has to get it in reverse, come on. Oh dear, this isn't working for Martin Stabile. He can't seem to get it turned around. But that is such a shame from him. He was doing well, looking for a top 10, and he's put it in the wall face first as Kevin Smith comes up to him. There's a Carl Smith in another series, that's why I keep mixing up the names here. And Carl is spelled with a K in that other series. But Smith gains another place, gets himself into 13th. Unlucky for some, lucky for him right now. But he's got Martin Stabile, who might be a quicker driver at the moment, hot on his tail now. Stabile will look to, there we go, Smith goes wide and lets through Stabile. Probably not purposely, but Stabile, that's another place gained, and he has to work on catching up with Tursinen and Jurevski. Jurevski, we haven't mentioned him much, but he's having a good clean race at the moment. He did get collected by Emil Holmberg on the opening lap, but we'll have to see if this guy can keep calm and get himself up with the top 10. He's about just shy of 9 seconds off of Roy Plummer in 10th at the moment. But we look to Derek Robb. He's right on the rear of Tonga Guardia. This is a battle for 3rd place. Horgom's right behind him. Here goes Derek Robb. Oh, they're so close. Both Mercs battling it out. Tonga Guardia on the brakes. Derek Robb got to keep it steady behind him. He's got to wait for another corner now. This is not the place to overtake. Very snaky coming through here as they come onto the main straight. Horgom's got a slow down penalty. That's just appeared on that final corner there, so he'll lose a bit of time from Derek Robb and Tonga Guardia now. Another driver has dropped down. Martin Stabile's in the pits. He's retired. There's too much damage to his car by the looks of it. He is out of the race, sadly for him. He was looking good as well for a good, strong top 10 finish. Such a shame about him. But his compatriot is doing well. 3rd place, Tonga Guardia. Battling with Derek Robb. Robb seems to have dropped off on the start of this lap. It will come on another corner, presumably. Good battle going on between Ben Sisko and Øyvind Andersen at the moment. Ben Sisko must have dropped off because he was ahead of Øyvind Andersen. And a bit of damage on that front does suggest he's been involved in some sort of drama. Ben Payne is gaining on Smith in front of him. He's dropped 2 seconds to Smith, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Ben Payne must have got collected on the opening lap. Something along those lines. But we'll see if he can catch up as the race goes by. Horgom is close to Robb. Yet again, Robb doesn't seem to be hooking it up on this Grand Prix circuit as well as Horgom and Guardia are. Horgom being a bit quiet so far in this race. He had a brief moment in the sunlight on lap 1, but it ended 2 corners into the race. But he'll be looking to hook it up and get himself back up there. Guardia has dropped a lot of time from Foyle. Maybe those softs are dropping off already. We're only 3rd lap in. But we'll have to see. William Foyle is 7.5 seconds up the road, and Foyle is dropping off a little bit from Kasperink. You can't actually see Kasperink at the moment, but there he is. I think he's in the Winkelhock livery. Yes, he is. But he's just hooking it up, hitting all his marks, and he's pulling away from William Foyle a little bit per lap. In fact, the last lap, there was only 1.8 seconds between them, Kasperink being the quicker of the two, but no lap time yet has gone below 9 minutes. A battle going on between Jakobsen and Roy Plummer in the making. This is the battle for ninth. Ninth seems to be a popular position in this race so far. Ben Payne is right up with Kevin Smith, and Kevin Smith must have made a mistake because that's a big time loss from Smith. Here goes Ben Payne. He's going to go for 12th place very soon, potentially. Smith looking very shaky coming out of the hairpin there. We'll have to see if Ben Payne can hook up a good Schumacher-esque corner, or corners here. Didn't look bad, actually, from the Force Racing driver. Tursinen is another driver who has retired. Too much damage on that car. We can see too much damage on that. In fact, is he? Yeah, I think he is. Well, actually, no, he's in the pits. He's not retired yet. That is in the pits. So he's not given up yet. But he might be getting damage repaired just so he can have a clean, fresh car. Back with Ben Payne. Towards the end of the GP layout, he's looking at getting past Kevin Smith fairly sharpish. Will this be the point where Ben Payne becomes a pain to Smith and hooks it up a bit more? We'll have to come back to that soon. Horgom is again getting close-ish to Derek Robb, who's dropped back a bit from Tonga Guardia. It hasn't been a very quick lap from Derek Robb in comparison to third place. Maybe the degraded tyres getting to Robb a little bit. Horgom's on hard tyres, so this might be the point in the stint where Horgom's tyres are a little bit better than Derek Robb and Tonga Guardia's. Horgom, in fact, had an invalidated lap. We saw that with a slow down penalty, so we can't see what kind of lap time he's setting at the moment. He hasn't actually set a valid lap time yet. Neither has Guardia. But Derek Robb has set a 9 minutes 8, so we'll have to see how that compares. It compares to Lee Horn. Lee Horn is out on his own at the moment. Now he's lapping 2 seconds quicker than Derek Robb, so he is potentially quicker than 3 guys in front of him. So Lee Horn progressively could catch up with the top 3. Pit stops to come into play. Also, there's going to be different strategies used by these guys, of course. But we'll have to see. I mean, we're on lap 3 at the moment. We might see drivers coming in at the end of this lap. We're going to cut back to Ben Payne. He's getting closer. A drive-through penalty for Øyvind Andersen. He did come into the pits and he's got to go through again. On the Nordschleife, you've got to go through the pits again. Ugh. Well, in actual fact, the pit stop's pretty short here, but you may as well do it at the end of this lap. I mean, I think the rule is on this sim, you can do 3 laps without needing to serve your drive-through. Tursinen has retired. It must have been too long a pit stop. The crew decided to retire the car early on, and we look back. Derek Robb has lost 4th place. I don't know how we missed that. It literally just happened. It might have been a spin from Derek Robb, but Horgom has now taken 4th place. Looked like it's quite easily taken 4th place. Now he can get his head down and try and catch up with Tonga Guardia. Tonga out on his own at the moment, coming off the bank in. He's got 3.5 gap to Horgom, but an increasing gap, which is around about 7 seconds now, to William Foyle, who is also dropping back from Kasperink. William Foyle will probably be looking to get the upper hand on the pit stop strategy at this point, as he's not getting the upper hand of pace on Kasperink as it stands. Ben Payne has made his way past Smith. We literally just missed that. Still a bit of a battle going on between them. Smith's not going to give up, but Ben Payne has got himself into 12th place. Good job from him. We have to see if he can get his head down. He's got 40 seconds now to catch up with Jakobsen. All that will be done on not spinning and getting a good strategy. To mention a quiet driver today, Zhirayr kept his nose out of trouble, all except for when Holmberg spun in front of him. Zhirayr doing well, 10th place there, good impressive performance from him so far. He's got Jakobsen not far behind him, but a top 10 so far for Zhirayr. He's one of those drivers who isn't quick per se, but he tries his utmost to keep things clean. And he gets good points out of it as well. The XTCR series, he got himself into the top 20 purely on keeping himself out of trouble. Lee Horn is reeling in Derek Robb ever so slightly, and Robb is only within a second of Hågom. He's hooked up a good recovery following a spin potentially, which has put himself behind Hågom. Now this, where are we on the lap? Yeah, we look there. Kaspering's about to come onto the main straight. Hågom and Robb very close to each other as they go through the second of the concrete bank-ins. Not quite as notable, that one, as the first one on this track. One of the most iconic corners in the world, let alone this track, the first banked concrete corner. Now, this might be where Hågom has the advantage over Derek Robb, is the main straight on this track. I'm going to quickly look to Kaspering, who's about to complete the third lap. Now, we'll have to keep an eye and see if he comes in the pits. But Derek Robb actually is not losing anything from Hågom. He's gaining on him rapidly. Here we go. He's alongside. Hågom drops behind. That Mustang isn't as good down the straight as we thought. It's heavy, we said. But that Mercedes has flown by the Norwegian driver. Kaspering stays out on track. William Foyle stays out on track. Tonga Guardi on soft tyres. The first runner on track of soft tyres stays out. Derek Robb. Hågom's got a slow down penalty for cutting the track limits again on the same corner. Derek Robb and Hågom are both coming in the pits. Now Hågom, that's interesting because he's on hard tyres and he's very naughtily overtaken in the pits there. I'm not sure if Raceroom allows you to do that, but Robb isn't going to give up being side by side with him that easily. Now, luckily they didn't make contact, but these two in the pits, we'll have to see who comes out first. All depends on what they do. Fuel or tyres. All fours or just two tyres, fronts or rears. Now we'll have to keep an eye on them soon. Emil Holmberg has decided to come in the pits as well. Navalov is a long way off, but we'll have to see if he comes in the pits yet. Ben Payne has a spin. Oh, and he's dropped back behind Payne, and he's dropped back behind Cisco. Unlucky from Ben Payne there. A spin on the latter part of the track. He was looking good for him. He's got to recover now again. He's got a damaged front end, so he must have hit that front end on the wall. Cuts the corner a little bit there. Gets away with that. Now let's keep an eye on Derek Robb. Let's see who else there. Navalov is coming in the pits as well. So the guys at the front, Lee Horn included, staying out. Think they can do an extra lap on these tyres. Tonga Guardi is on soft tyres, and he stayed out for another lap. He must be really struggling. I mean, he's not losing a lot from William Foyle in front. In fact, he gained on him a little bit in that lap. He's still within 6 to 7 seconds, and Foyle's losing from Kaspering. Right, here we go. Hågom has come out in front of Derek Robb. Derek Robb must have taken on more. Hågom has come out. There's Dureski and Jakobsen there. Dureski's not going to bother him, I assume. Derek Robb comes out. He must have taken on a little more fuel potentially, or an extra. Well, it probably won't be an extra set of tyres. Drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane for Emil Holmberg. That is such a shame from him. He was running real well in 6th place. No, sorry, 7th place. He'll have to come in again to serve a speeding in the pit lane, and he will not be able to do that at the same time as a pit stop. You have to do them separately, so that is going to lose him around about half a minute. Sad to say it, but it will. Hågom spun in the hairpin there. That'll help Robb. Derek Robb's right behind him, but that lets past Dureski and Derek Robb there. Roy Plummer's in the pits. We've got Ben Payne back there coming into the pits now. Ben Cisco also coming in. A lot of these drivers coming in. It's the front guys who want to stay out and risk it. Navalov stayed. No, he did come in the pits. Oh, drive-through penalty for Roy Plummer. These guys not getting their pit limiters quite right. It's something they should have probably practiced in practice or warm-up. But not good from two drivers so far. That's Holmberg and Plummer. Kevin Smith has come in the pits as well. Ben Sisko there as well. Ben Payne just pulled into his pit slot. We've got Jakobsen battling with Zhirayr. Oh, what's Jakobsen doing? Where's he going? What on earth is Jakobsen doing? I have no idea why he's done that. But he's going to put himself down the order. He has. He's put himself down to 14th now. Why has he done that? That was strange. But we're going to carry on. I mean, we'll see what happens later. But Horgom's right on the rear of Zhirayr. Zhirayr not giving it up so easily. Doesn't have to. He's not a lap behind. He is battling for position. Zhirayr decides to stay out on the hard tyre. Horgom is in fact gone back out on hard tyres again. And Derek Robb's on softs. At this point, Robb will be quicker than Horgom. And Robb looking all over the rear of the Norwegian in the Mustang. It's very tight between these two. They have to slow down a bit more. Zhirayr will want to go through these corners a bit slower than these two. Horgom is going to go for it. The door shuts on him. Zhirayr is having a good go at these two. And because of that, Robb's got a good run on the Norwegian driver. He looks to the outside. He's got to put it on the grass a little bit just to get it alongside. Bit of contact, door-to-door contact. Robb cannot get it round the outside. Horgom will shuck it up the inside of Zhirayr. Robb will go round the outside. Not quite going to work. Robb playing it safe for now. He's kept himself out of trouble so far, and he's got to keep doing that. He's got to keep himself out of trouble. He's done so well so far. Horgom right on the rear of Zhirayr, trying to shake off the driver who was in 10th, now in 5th due to staying out. Got to be patient. You've got to be patient. On the brakes. Can he get up the inside? And Zhirayr has gone off. I'm not sure if there was contact there. I couldn't quite see, but he's now out of the way of them. Not too much harm done to Zhirayr, thankfully. He can carry on and probably keep himself in contention for the top 10. The battle rumbles on between these two. Now, because there's a lot of drivers going to have to serve driving through the pit lane penalties. Emil Holmberg is one, Roy Plummer is another. That will benefit the likes of Ben Sisko, who we're just seeing go wide there. Ben Payne will get himself past him, who also went wide. But Roy Plummer having to come in the pits and Emil Holmberg, that might help out Ben Payne. He might end up getting himself into a top 10 position rather soon. With the demise of Jakobsen taking a very, very strange way of going in the pits. I still can't work that out. But we move on. Let's go back to the front because the gaps have opened up hugely between these drivers. Kasperink leads by 18 seconds now from William Foyle in second place, who's opened up the gap to 14 seconds ahead of Tonga Guardia. Now, those soft tyres might be degrading a lot now at this point for Tonga, but 15 seconds back from him is Lee Horn. Lee Horn, a disastrous first lap. He had not hoped for that, but he'll be looking to just get his head down and, you know, let time tick by where he can try and catch up with the top 3. Now here's Derek Robb. Now Horgom hasn't got Zhirayr in front of him. He can focus on getting in a quick stint here. Now, this is a part of the track the Mustang's pretty good on. It accelerates so much better due to its greater horsepower than the Mercedes, but the Mercedes... Oh, Derek Robb getting it very loose there. But he keeps it going. He dropped off a little bit from Horgom as a result there. Emil Holmberg is right up on, when the bollard gets out the way, the billboard gets out the way, he's right up on Zhirayr now. Holmberg's one of the 2 drivers in the field who will have to serve a drive-through penalty, so he'll be looking to get a very, very quick lap here to try and make up for some of that lost time that will inevitably come. Oh, it was a good run by the looks of it coming out of that left-hander, but Zhirayr has shut the door on him. It's all about braking early, get a sharp entry and getting a good exit, and there we go, it happens. Zhirayr doesn't fight too much with Holmberg for that one. Holmberg did very well on the late brakes there to get it alongside and past. Derek Robb, 1.5 behind Horgom. the man from Scotland, on his return to Raceroom. And an impressive day out at the moment. We'll have to see how he gets on. Within a second, as of those few corners there, reels him in a little bit. The thing is, these cars are so unpredictable, so difficult to drive, especially on this track, that the times differences drop or extend so massively. It can go from, well, we saw it with Ben Payne and I think it was Kevin Smith anyway, like half a minute dropped within a few minutes. That's what can happen on this track. Just to look at the track map to see where everyone is. So Cashbrink is coming up to finish. In fact, he's coming in the pits. William Foyle, he'll probably come in the pits too, but Cashbrink is coming into the pits now. This is probably the limit of fuel. The end of lap 5. William Foyle also comes in the pits. Tonga Guardia might do as well, and I imagine Lee Horn will as well. Dereshki might as well. So while this unfolds, I am just going to go for a quick break, and we'll be right back with these guys very soon. So back just in time, Cashbrink finishes his pit stop and exits the pits. William Foyle. Now, William Foyle came in the pits, but oh, I've missed something there. Now, Cashbrink might have taken on more tyres. Now, will that be the demise of... Oh, no. We'll come to that in a sec. Will that be what cost this race for Cashbrink? Taking on extra tyres. I think Guardia might have done similar. He's half a minute back from Cashbrink now. Derek Robb, here he comes. Now he gets himself in front of Tonga Guardia. And got himself in front of Horgom. Sorry, I missed that. Oh, it's very tentative coming through turn 1 there. Derek Robb spins. That's not what he wanted. Horgom gets back in front. Guardia is back in front. And what an opportunity for third place for Derek Robb. And he's gone away. Tonga Guardia, the Crest Autosport driver in the Mercedes, stays in front. Now he's going to have to keep off Norwegian CMH driver of Christian Horgom. I believe CMH is his name. And the XR driver of Derek Robb, who's looking very strong today. We'll have to see if he can get back up. But William Foyle looks to have taken on... My guessing is because of this, Cashbrink's taken on 4 tyres, Foyle's taken on 2. That's my guessing. My guessing is his front tyres are okay, and he decides to only take on rears. And fuel, of course. But William Foyle is your race leader at the moment, with what could be a key part to this race. I mean, there's an hour and 20 left. But Cashbrink has gambled on taking on more tyres at this point. All of these drivers will need to take on a 4 tyre change at some point. But Cashbrink's decided to do it earlier rather than later. Will that be the benefit of him? We'll have to keep an eye on that relative on the standings. 12.5 come down to 12.3 just then. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. I mean, these guys will have another 5 laps off the Nordschleife to do before they come in the pits again. Now, to look back, Ben Payne did lose out to Ben Sisko earlier on in this lap. And he's still right on the rear of him. They're approaching the end of this lap, and I'm not sure if it'll be pit stop time. Can we see how many pit stops these guys have done? No, we can't, which is a bit of a shame. But right on the rear. Horgom is very close yet again. Wait a minute, Derek Robb's gone. Where's Derek Robb gone? Derek Robb's out of the race. No! Oh no! Oh no, I'm gutted for him. He was doing so well. I'm sorry I missed it. I don't know what's happened to him. Hopefully he can come on the stream and let us know. But Derek Robb's out of the race. He was looking so good for a top 5 and battling for a top 3. He's out of the race. Oh, oh no, I'm so upset for him. But we must continue. Roy Plummer, a drive-through penalty again. He must have been serving his penalty and somehow accumulated another. It must be something to do with the pit limiter, not hitting it in time, not hitting it at all, I don't know, or releasing it too early. But back to Lee Horn, in fact, Roy Plummer's teammate. He's charging up on Emil Holmberg. I'm not sure how he's ended up behind Emil, who's still yet to serve a drive-through penalty by the looks of it. This will put Lee Horn back into the top 5 with the demise of Derek Robb. I can't believe that's happened. I still can't believe, but this really shakes up the top 10. This means Ben Payne, who has dropped off from Ben Sisko at some point. Yeah, at some point he has dropped off from him. Navalov battling for 7th. Dureshki hasn't... Has he pitted yet? Yes, he has pitted. Dureshki has pitted. We'll have to keep an eye on these two as they battle for 7th place. Dureshki was 10th before everyone started coming into pits. He found himself in 3rd, I think, 3rd or 5th at one point. Navalov gets alongside. Now of the two, I believe Navalov is slightly quicker than Dureshki. As through goes Navalov, Dureshki's not going to fight too hard with him, but gets himself back there. Lee Horn, right on the heels of Emil Holmberg, who holds 5th place, but Emil Holmberg does have a drive-through penalty to serve, as does Roy Plummer. Roy Plummer down in 9th place, who does have a big cushion to Ben Sisko behind him. There's a swap of drivers. Tonga Guardia is battling with Christian Horgom for 3rd place. It's now a 2-way battle for 3rd, not a 3-way battle. Derek Robb's out of the race. I'm so gutted for him. It'd have been great to see an Exiled driver up there, finishing in the top 3 of what is my last race as an Exiled admin. Oh, Horgom. This would be the point. Horgom's quicker in the lap. Here he goes, alongside and past Tonga Guardia. Oh, there was a bit of off-roading there from Horgom. It's a very, very tricky part of the track for these cars. Very, very sensitive. Grip-wise, anyway. There's a big battle for 10th at the moment. We are going to skip to that. Ben Payne's taken 10th place, past Sisko, and still guarding from Carl Smith. Kevin Smith, I've got to stop messing up that name. But Kevin Smith looking to get himself into 11th. At this point, I'm not entirely sure who hasn't pitted. Oh, Ben Payne spun! Ben Payne spun, he's in the wall. We just about caught that, and Ben Payne is retired from the race. Too much damage on his engine. Such a shame. He was looking good for a top 10 at that point. Ah, oh, Ben. It now comes. The top 10 is now between these two. Can't write off any other drivers behind, such as Anderson, Jacobson. But Kevin Smith gets himself past the Audi of Ben Sisko into the top 10. Goes the next gen driver. All the next gen drivers that started this race are now in the top 10 and still running. That's Kevin Smith, Roy Plummer in 9th, and Lee Horn in 6th, who has dropped off a little bit from Emil Holmberg. But Emil needs to serve a drive-through penalty, so Lee Horn won't be worried about that position at the moment. He'll be wanting to catch up with these guys up here. Tonga Guardia still battling with Horgom. Still a battle raging on. Well, Carl Smith's dropped back behind Ben Sisko, so there must have been a spin there somewhere. But we cut back to these two. This is it between Tonga and Hågom. There's also Lee Horn gaining on Emil Holmberg to look out for. I'll put on the auto director so he can look out for big battles. Here we go, Tonga Guardi on board with him. Oh, it's a very shaky Mercedes coming down the hill there. Hågom a little bit wide on that corner there. Tonga gained on him there. Now, to point out, William Foyle and Kasperink have a different pit strategy on the go. Foyle has lost 6 seconds already on this lap to Michel Kasperink. Another 6 seconds and Kasperink will catch him. And that's only happened in about a lap. Look how close he is to the Mustang. Oh, contact. This is a big, big battle all race long between these two. Guardia drops off a little bit. Now, this will be an interesting section to watch. Guardia goes wide, avoids the wall. He's a long way back from Hågom on this straight. He might not be able to get past him here. Messed up the exit a little bit of the last, what you call technical corner of the Nordschleife. The arrive and drive section anyway. But he is I might eat my own words here. Here goes Guardia for 3rd place. Shoves it up the inside. It's so twitchy. Oh, he's losing it. He's losing it. He's lost it. Guardia has lost it into the wall. Will that knock out his engine? Oh, he's lucky. Oh, it didn't quite work for him. But has that cost him a chance at 3rd place now? Look who's catching up. Emil Holmberg and Lee Horn have caught right up on Hågom and Guardia. Now this could be a 4-way battle for 3rd place. Let's see if Guardia can catch back up with Hågom, but there's a bit of breathing space for him as Kevin Smith battles with Ben Sisko still for the top 10. Kevin Smith gets past Ben Sisko quite easily. I'm not sure how. Does Ben Sisko have engine issues? It is a bit of a mangled front end for him. Ooh. These cars are a bit battered and bruised at the moment, but we have missed the swap of the lead. Kasperink has taken the lead. Thank you, Auto Director, for not showing us that. But Kasperink has, well, obliterated William Foyle on the last lap or so, and has got himself back into the lead. It seems the fresh rubber is helping him a lot, and that might have been a payoff of strategy there, because Will Foyle will still have another 3 or 4 laps before he has to come into the pits for fuel and or probably all tyres. Lee Horn right on the heels of Emil Holmberg still. Emil will be he will see Guardia and eyes will be fixed on him, but a little bit of a glance at his mirror every now and again as Lee Horn looks to get past him. Lee has a deeper line coming around the corner there. A good run out here. It's what he needs. It's not really an overtaking opportunity up here, but can Lee Horn line up a good chicane here to gain on him before we enter the Nordschleife? Not quite. That was a good corner from Emil Holmberg in front, who is catching Tonga Guardia. Now, he might have a knackered engine at this point. Look at the front mangled up. It will look like a glorious move for 3rd place, but it was a bit too ambitious potentially, as he just could not control the car to stay in front of Hågom. William Foyle is plummeting time-wise from Kasperink. It's not working out for him right now. But we are not even halfway through this race yet. We can't write off anyone just yet. 3-way battle for 4th at the moment. Guardia catching up with Hågom. Hågom is not in the clear yet. He's had a bit of breathing space. He has a bit of time to wipe the sweat from his face. But the Argentinian is getting back towards him, and he's being followed by a Swede and a Brit. Through one of the best corners on the track. A fast right-hander. Let's go on board with Tonga Guardia as the Mercedes skips over the crest here on one of the fastest sections of the track. 265 kilometers per hour, so the engine doesn't seem to be losing too much performance. Thankfully for him, that could have been game over. Another hit in the wall, it probably will be. Look at him just absolutely cruise up towards Håkon. A bit of a lock-up on the brakes. But he gained on him a lot there. He's within a second of him. If these cars had DRS, it'd be... well, it wouldn't be open, but it'd be ready to use at this point. All these drivers now within a second of each other. This is the battle for third place. Norway of Håkon, Argentina of Guardia, and that's a spin from Holmberg. Holmberg has binned it right as we said it was a four-way battle. No, it wasn't a commentator's curse, it was just coincidence, but Holmberg, what was looking like a good battle for him on the horizon, well, right in front of him, has now gone away. Now he's got a big buffer to his compatriot Nevelov behind him, particularly as he's got a drive-through penalty to serve, but that has written off a pretty big opportunity. Håkon's disappeared. Where's Håkon gone? Oh, he spun it there. The pressure was telling. Guardia is back into third place. Now, will Håkon get his head down and try to catch back up? There's a lack of grip by the looks of it on Håkon's car. But this is all brilliant for Lee Horn, as it was looking terrible from lap 1. He dropped down to something like 9th place. But he's just plugged away, and caught these guys ever so slightly each lap. Each corner matters, and Horn is in the running for third place. Guardia is my teammate outside of this race, so it's Guardia, a good friend and a teammate of mine, versus a very, very good friend of mine, Lee Horn, for third place. Håkon returning to Exiled for the first time in a very long time. We can't write him off yet. He could catch up with these guys. We'll have to see, particularly if these guys start battling. Foyle is just... I know we haven't mentioned him much today. He's doing all he can. He's doing well to stay in second place. He's doing well to open the gap between him and third place, but it's just not quite working for him in terms of battling with Kasprink today. Kasprink is the dominant force of this race, and the only thing that's going to stop Kasprink now is a slight mistake from him or a bad pit strategy. But it seems to have paid off, as putting on complete new scrubs, tyres, works for him, as he's obliterated William Foyle on the last 2 laps with completely fresh rubber. And Foyle probably feeling a little bit tentative with that car. The fronts might not be up to scratch. There's big gaps between most drivers at the moment. The closest gap is Foyle and Lee Horn and Guardia. Yeah, Ben Payne, I see you commenting on the stream. Yeah, unlucky, mate. You were looking very, very good for a top 10 there, mate, but very unlucky. It was a good battle between you and Ben Sisko. But we'll have to see if Ben Sisko can catch back up with Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith in 10th place at the moment. A good performance from him. Started near the back, and he's in 10th, so pretty good from him. There's big, big gaps between all these drivers now. It's pretty much all going to come down to spins and mistakes. We stay on board with Lee Horn for the minute. He's dropping back a little bit from Guardia. Guardia is hooking up a very good lap at the moment. Very good stint. He's nearly 2 seconds away from Guardia. From Horn. And Håkon is dropping back from these two. Håkon is not catching up. Yeah, Lee Horn dropping and dropping and dropping from Guardia at the moment. Guardia's hooking up a good lap here. I do remember... Oh, Lee Horn getting ever so slightly out of shape there. Now, to go back to what I was saying, I do remember when we had the DTM 92 season of Exiled back in January and February. I do remember Tonga Guardia was leading a race at the Salzburg Ring in Austria. And I do remember him being so close to winning that race, and I think he spun it himself and cost himself what would have been a win, but also I think his only podium of the season as well. Quote me on that one, but I think that's what happened. So a third place here for Tonga Guardia would be exceptional. Tonga Guardia finished 6th in the DTM season, and he did have a second place finish at the Sachsenring, but it was the Salzburg ring. I remember he qualified on pole. Well, I didn't qualify, but he managed to get himself on pole via a reverse grid for race 2, but he ended up 5th, losing out to a spin. Justin Welbeloved went on to win that race. Lee Horn did not take part in the DTM 92 season. I never even met him at that point. William Foyle was runner-up in the DTM season back then. Is he going to come in the pits? No, he isn't. Kasperink has started his next lap. Nothing else to report on this race, but William Foyle finished 2nd in the DTM Championship. He had a good running at Spa, finishing 3rd and 3rd. He won a race at the Nürburgring. He finished 2nd at Salzburg Ring, and he got pole position and won the race here at the Nordschleife, the final round of the season, and got himself a 3rd place. So it was a pretty good showing from him. He's dropping bags of time from Kasperink here. Kasperink, a force to be reckoned with in these cars. Now Horn is very, very close to Guardia yet again. Now it might have been that twisted corner that Guardia lost it on a lap ago. Will Lee Horn go for it? Probably a bit far back to do it. Oh, Guardia getting very sideways, and look, Lee Horn lets him go. He lets him go as it's a spin from Guardia. And Guardia will hope that is not his chance at 3rd place gone. Lee Horn gets himself back into the top 3. He hasn't been there since the start of the race, where it was a very, very sketchy first lap from him. He's back up there. Will he catch William Foyle, though? That is the next question to ask. William Foyle not setting the most blistering of lap times at the moment. Lee Horn actually hooked up a 9 minutes 2. Now that something's happened. Christian Horgom is in the pits. Now, I wonder why. Emil Holmberg also is. I don't think he served the penalty yet. I'm pretty sure he hasn't, but he's in the pits there. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't count as the drive-through when you do come in and get tyres and fuel. But Horgom's in the pits relatively early. Now, how many laps has he completed? I have to take a look. 7 laps completed. Bit of an odd strategy from Horgom, but we're not. It's around about halfway now, so people will start to consider coming into the pits. Horgom's engine gets going, and that might have been just fuel and 2 tyres, which is interesting because I would have thought by now that the front tyres be cooked by now. I might be wrong. Emil Holmberg is back out on track. Oh, he's disqualified. Holmberg's been disqualified for ignoring a drive-through penalty, and that's race over for him. What a disaster for the Swedish driver now. Oh, I don't know what to say about that. There's another driver in the pits back there. I think that's Navalov. Yes, it is. Navalov will... No. He will have the position now. He has it. He's 6th place now as he comes into the pits. Lee Horn has dropped back behind Tonga Guardia. A mistake must have happened for Lee Horn, and it's now back with Tonga Guardia in the top 3. Wow, Tonga Guardia is certainly looking like the spotlight driver in today's race, the source of a lot of big battling and drama. But yeah, that is Emil Holmberg out of the race. Zhirayr in the pits. Having a good, clean race is Zhirayr. He was bothered by Horgom and Guardia earlier on, but he's having a good race. He's got himself into 7th place. So this will promote Ben Sisko to 10th place, and there's only 12 runners left in this race. It's 7 retirees so far of Emil Holmberg disqualified, which it's disqualified him so bad it's put him down to 19th. Ian Deeney out on the first lap, such a shame for him. Alex Foyle. Then Martin Stabile. We were keeping an eye on Martin Stabile quite a lot. He was having a good battle. That was Lee Horn hooking it sideways then. Thank you, Auto Dialector Director. Missing that, but that was a big sideways moment for Lee Horn. Zhirayr leaves the pits. Roy Plummer is in the pits. Now, he would have seen the car in front of him, Zhirayr leaving the pits as he's coming in. That will not be very advertising for Plummer, but he's just got to keep at it. He might catch Zhirayr, he might not. We'll just have to see. Just have to hook up some good laps to try and catch him. Now, Lee Horn is now some time back from Guardia. We're halfway through the race as of a minute ago. It's taken Lee Horn a long time to catch Guardia, and he's not making it much easier for himself. He looks to be struggling for grip hugely at the moment. He's on hard tyres. Are they worn hard tyres or no? I'm not entirely sure. Foyle is dropping back further and further and further as it's near a half-minute gap now from Kasprink, and that's accumulated over only 2.5 laps. And he's probably got some time left before he comes in. He'll probably come in for 4 tyres, try and do similar to what Kasprink has done. Roy Plummer gets another drive-through penalty now. He needs to be real careful now. We saw what happened to Emil Holmberg, and Roy Plummer just doesn't seem to be getting the pits limiter quite right with this car. Or with himself today. It's not working for him when it's coming to pit stops. It's something you need to practice for these endurances on Raceroom. It's not a fine art, but I wouldn't say that, but it's something you do need to test. Kasprink out in front, not much to report on yet on this track. The battle between Guardia and Horn has opened up with the mistake of Horn spinning it on the, I think it's the halfway point of the track. But Kasprink, just look at him, he's just in full control of this car, hooking it up to every apex correctly, using all the roads, and he just doesn't seem to be struggling at all with grip. Over half-a-minute gap to William Foyle, with 57 minutes to go. He just needs to cruise. That's all he really needs to do. Let's see what the fastest lap is of the race. So, in fact, Kasprink on the last lap did the only sub 9-minute lap of 8 minutes 59.5, the only one in the race to have done so. William Foyle has got the second fastest lap of 9 minutes 1.9, but it just, by the looks of it, William Foyle is not able to do that time consistently at this point. There must be issues with tyres, in comparison anyway, to Kasprink. Just dominating. Absolutely dominating. We look to William Foyle. I think Will Foyle will not be worrying, let's just say, about first place now. He'll be focusing on trying to get it back at home in second place. And in fact, William Foyle so far in the endurance series of Exiled has had a 100% podium record. He scored third place in the TCR Spa, XTCR Spa 50 endurance. He scored a win in the GT3, and he scored second in the P1s 2 months ago. And it's looking like it's on course to be another podium today, provided no further drama happens to him. Tonga Guardia, now, I've got to say, Tonga's been one of the standout drivers today. Someone who's just able to get himself out of trouble and keep himself in the top 3. He was looking good in qualifying and practice as well. I did kind of think he'd be one to look out for in this race. But it's not to say it's over for third place for him yet. Horgom's a long way behind, granted, but Lee Horn is only within 6 seconds of him. It could drop down. It could be a mistake from Guardia. It could be a bad pit stop. It could be anything. It could be a blistering amount of pace from Lee Horn. I mean, the last lap, these two sets of Horn and Guardia, Lee Horn got a 9 minutes 2, a 9 minutes 4 from Guardia. So if that happens over the if similar happens over the next 2 to 3 laps, Horn will catch back up with Guardia. And in fact, he's within 5 seconds now as I say that. So Horn is hooking up when he's got it under control. He's hooking up good lap times in comparison to Guardia. There you can see Guardia in the distance there, just about to go up the hill. Nothing else to report on just yet. Just check Kasprink is still out on track. not come in the pits. I believe Foyle is coming into the pits, so Foyle's had enough. He's going to come in and take tyres on. Now, Guardi will see that time plummet. Will he choose to go in the pits now? Will he choose to stay out? I do remember from the Spa 50 days, Guardia does like his long stints. Guardia stays out, as does Lee Horn. So Will Foyle will relinquish second to these two drivers who'll be safe from Christian Horgom, who's a minute and a half behind. But there goes Lee Horn into third place, pending a pit stop from them too. But now Cashbrink has a minute gap. I mean, pit stops will come up again for Cashbrink. As he gets to the end of the GP circuit and onto now the Nordschleife. Guardia coming around the hairpin. Oh, he's looking very, very sideways there, but keeps it under control. He's flamboyantly driving this car at the moment, is Guardia, but he must be having a lot of fun. Will Foyle leaves the pits. No penalty for him. He's been so used to seeing penalties from drivers so far in this race from the pits. Holmberg, one of them. Plummer, another. In fact, Plummer serves a slowdown. It's not a slowdown, a drive-through penalty. Let's say at the end of this lap, Kevin Smith will take 9th place. There's not enough. I don't think there is anyway. I don't think there's enough of a cushion between them for him to be safe. With mistakes like that, there could well be soon. But Kevin Smith, let's keep our eye on him. Could be one to look out for taking 8th place. Zhirayr has been another driver who's impressed me today. He's just kept his nose clean, and when there's been drivers behind him looking to get past, he's just kept composed. And done well to stay on track. There's only been a few brief encounters, and in fact, that's probably, apart from Cashbrink and Will Foyle, it's one of the cleanest looking cars on the track at the moment, which goes to show. Navalov's done well to... he's had some intense battles and some real tense moments in this race so far, but done well to get himself 6th place at the moment. Lee Horn, he is looking for what is 2nd place, but might end up being 3rd place later on. We'll have to see what happens. Now, Foyle lost a lot of time. Foyle's lost he's near on 2 minutes behind Cashbrink now, which tells me that William Foyle took on all 4 tyres plus a full tank of fuel. And that tells me William is looking to hook up some good lap times now. Cashbrink did do the fastest lap of the race last time out. He's a long way into this lap, but he did hook up an 8 minutes 57.3. Anything you can do, Will, I can do better is kind of what he's saying right now. There's another retiree. Kevin Smith's out of the race. I don't know what's happened there. Roy Plummer has spun as well. Something might have happened between them two. It's going wrong for Next Gen right now. I mean, Roy Plummer will definitely hang on to 8th place, but he's safe from Kevin Smith now. Kevin Smith was looking good for a top 10 finish, and it's all over for him, and presumably an engine issue has ended his race, hitting the wall potentially. Such a shame from him. We now only have 11 runners, Jacobson being the last of them. We cut back to Lee Horn. He's within 4 seconds of Guardia. Little by little, he is catching Guardia, and the battle will intensify yet again between these two, provided they both keep it on the grey stuff. It's a very difficult race, this. It's such a long race with tyres to look after, fuel to consider, battles to look out for. It's very difficult to put all of it together. But when you're this guy, Michel Cashbrink, it just comes all together. He's got himself out in front and clear pretty quickly. There was a little bit of a threat from William Foyle coming on the opening lap, but he very quickly left them for dead, and all he has to do is just... He's hot lapping at this point. Lee Horn within 3 seconds now. Nearly within 2 seconds. Oh, Tonga Guardia was getting very out of shape there coming out of that corner. It's getting very snaky for Tonga Guardia. You can probably see Lee Horn approaching him. Lee Horn will know. Lee Horn will know you can catch him at this point now. He'll be very confident of that. So Lee will just, I hope in his mind, he's just thinking, keep hitting your marks. As he does, he keeps it close to that apex. He doesn't put down the power too much. The BMW roars through this top section of the track. I think it's the most northerly section of the track. Flat out over these crests and bumps. Do not hit the grass is the rule on this part, which he does. Keeps it going fairly swiftly. Oh, I can't see a steering wheel. That's my error. Oh, Guardia getting out of shape there. Lee Horn. It just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping for him, that time difference. He'll know this. And in fact, I don't think the time between him and Will Foyle is getting smaller. In fact, Will Foyle has just hit over to the 50 mark, down to 49.6 there, but just keep an eye on all of this. Below 2 seconds now. Foyle is catching up a little bit on the last few corners. It's a long way behind, but on the I assume on the next pit stop. Oh no! Horn's lost it. Oh, he just powered down too early and lost it. He's got the gap again to bring down. And it's a very damaged car anyway. At this point, the engine might be knocking on heaven's door. But he's got another deficit to manage again, has Horn. That was Tonga Guardia. I was going to look at William Foyle. Oh, he's going very, very close to the grass. In fact, he was on the grass a little bit, trying to take every little bit of the track that he possibly can to not only reduce the gap between him and Lee Horn, but try and make something up on Kasparink. We've got a quarter of an hour to go. Time's wearing thin for William. I know him quite well, and I know he won't want to give up. Now, Horn may have got a little bit shaky some time ago, about half a minute ago, but he's still managed to keep it within 3 seconds somehow of Tonga Guardia. A bit of a godsend for him. Oh, who's going slow there? Who's going slow there? That might be, yeah, it was Jacobson. Now Jacobson's just serving blue flags there. Fair play to him for doing that. At this point, he'll just be hoping to get it to the end now, I believe. We look back to Lee Horn. He's within 2 seconds of Guardia. Guardia is looking a little bit shaky by the looks of it. They do move on to the main straight here. As you can see, a big, long straight there, approaching Anderson. Now, Kasparink is in the pits to report on that. Taking on some new tyres again. I expected him to go a bit longer on those tyres, but maybe he's just thought, well, I've got a bit of a cushion to William Foyle, I'll come in for some pits. But at this point, you've got to consider, how many more pit stops do you need to do? If you think about it this way, if they're doing 4 to 5 laps, which is about 28 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Somewhere between 28 and 30 minutes. Oh, Tonga looking very, very loose through the final corners there. Now, will he choose to come in the pits? It looks like he is. Tonga Guardia comes into the pits. Lee Horn also coming in. Jacobson looks like he's coming in. No, he's not. Sorry, excuse me. Right, now, this is an important part in the battle for third. Battle for second, maybe. William Foyle, the time will plummet. And in fact, it all depends on what Guardia and Horn take on. Foyle, by the looks of it, did take on a lot more. Now, Kaspering's already leaving the pits. Foyle's not even at the end of this fast section, near the end of the lap yet. There's still a lot of time between him and Kaspering. You have to say, provided no drama happens, Kaspering has got this in the bag. Now, here comes William Foyle. He will make his way past Guardia and Horn. They're still in the pits, still in the pits, still in their pit stalls. He makes his way past. Both are still in the pit stalls. As William Foyle goes very, very wide. Oh, got to be careful there, Will. My word, that was him. That was very, very close. Guardia and Horn still in the pits. Who's going to leave their stall first? Is it Horn? Is it Guardia? Listen out for the engine starting. Horgom is 30 seconds behind, 27 seconds behind. That looks like engine start for Lee Horn. Guardia's away, Horn's away. Both with almost exactly the same time of pit stops. They both took on very, very similar amounts of tyres and amounts of fuel. Guardia gets away. Very, very similar time difference to what they came in with. Third and fourth is safe between them two. Guardia leaves the pits in third place. Foyle managed to get back past, and the time, yeah, it looks like Guardia took on a very, very similar amount of whatever it was, tyres or fuel, as hang on, Jacobsen has left our timing screen. Jacobsen is no longer in this race, deleted entirely from the standings. I'm not sure what's happened to him. It might have been a disconnection, but he is gone. There's only 10 remaining in this race now. Guardia spins coming out of the hairpin. Oh, Lee Horn just avoids him, but Lee Horn gets into third place. Now, the last time this happened, Horn spun it not long after him. Now, that was cold tyres, potentially from Guardia. Horn managing the cold tyres a little better so far, but we'll have to see. Horgom's very close to Guardia now. He's just over 10 seconds behind Lee Horn. So Horgom might not be out of third place. They're running for third place just yet. Keeps giving and does not give up. You can see Guardia going around the next corner, heading towards the chicane. Horgom is not out of this yet. But Lee Horn, now your new third place runner. Yeah, just seeing your comment on here, Kevin. I apologise. The whole stream I've been at times calling you Carl because I know a Carl Smith. I do apologise for that. But yeah, gutted to see that happen to you. Hopefully, we will see you on track with Exiled or other streams in the future. Now, Lee Horn. He's got a bit of a buffer to Guardia. He cannot make any mistakes at this point now. He made a little bit of a naivety mistake. Oh, see, he's getting sideways there around that corner. You can't push too hard. I know these cars are fun to drive, but you can't push too hard. He's got third place in his hands right now. A big gap now, well, a considerable gap to Guardia. Guardia, who now will have Horgom in his rear view mirror again. Guardia will get his head down and try and hunt back for third place. Guardia, whose only podium finish, should I say, in the Exiled DTM 92 season came at the Sachsenring. He'll want another one today. Surely he will. But still, unsurprisingly, Kaspering leads this race with only 10 drivers remaining. A huge dropout of drivers due to incidents. A lot of those drivers, it's painful to see because they were putting their mark on this race with some good driving, some good battles. The likes of Kevin Smith, Ben Payne, Derek Rupp, all of them, in fact, were having a right good stab at this. We have shy of 40 minutes to go. Now, the next, I am going to assume that, in fact, it's pretty obvious that most drivers are going to be coming into the pits at least once before the end of this race. That'd be pretty crucial for most drivers. What will they need to take on? Will drivers need to take on an extra set of tyres? And if so, will others not need tyres and that will lose them positions? Blah de blah de blah. There's a big gap between a lot of drivers, which means they're kind of safe to take on an extra set of tyres. But it's this battle for third. This battle for third will be the main one to watch. There's a bit of potential for Øyvind Andersen to get himself out of the bottom of the finishing cars. He is within touching distance, pit stop wise and mistake wise, with Ben Sisko. Bit of music pumping in the background. People enjoying this race at the moment. In the stands, or on the banks anyway. But yeah, Ben Sisko and Øyvind Andersen, the battle for 9th. Worth watching as the race goes by. Kasperink leads this race though, with a 40-second gap to William Foyle. William Foyle, I can't quite tell if he's losing or gaining. It's a bit of both at the moment. William Foyle in second place in the Mercedes. And we've got Lee Horn in the Tic Tac BMW. Oh my word, every time we look at Lee Horn, he's just ragging it around the corner. It's terrifying to watch. Good to watch, but terrifying. Tonga Guardia lost a bit of time from Lee Horn since the mistake earlier on in this lap. Is now 10 seconds, or just shy of 10 seconds, to Lee Horn. Hågom has lost a bit of gap from Guardia as well. That's nearly a 10-second gap, so it's opening up a little bit between these three, and our battle for third is just wearing away. These guys at this point will be determined not to make any mistake at this point. Navalov is in 6th place, 2 minutes back from Hågom, so he's very much out on his own. He's a minute ahead of Dereshki, so it's just a drive to the end now for Navalov. Navalov has probably been involved in a lot of battles today. There was a lot of argy-bargy between him and other drivers earlier on in this race. But it's been a stellar drive from Navalov to get himself to this point. The sun's setting now on the Nordschleife. Sadly, it won't go to night time on this track. We need night time on Raceroom. We need it. We need it. We also need wet weather. That would have been a great addition to this race. Wet weather. The drivers would probably say to me, no, 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 no. No thanks, Alex. Lucas Dereshki in 7th place. He's had a good showing today. Kept himself out of trouble. One of the cleanest cars, dent-wise and damage-wise, on the track at the moment. Just keeping it plumb on the track. And has done well to get himself a 7th place at the moment here. Roy Plummer, bit of drama with penalties for him, and there was a bit of drama between him and Jonas Tursenen earlier. But strong showing so far from him to get himself 8th place. Øyvind Andersen, now we've been told to keep an eye on him because he's within 3 seconds of Ben Sisko now. We go on board. Tonga Guardia spun, and that'll lose 4th to Hågom now. Tonga Guardia spun on a very strange part of the track, but we must cut back. That's Ben Sisko right in front of Øyvind Andersen. He's getting very close. This is the battle for 9th. Who wants the odd number out of the two? Now Guardia, back to him. He's a lot of close shaves in this race. A few spins here and there. And he's struggling to keep hold of that car at the moment, but sadly that might have put 3rd out of reach for him. He is nearly 30 seconds back from Horn. Horn will see that and a little bit of relief, I suppose, but Guardia, he's got 4th to go for now. Within a second, these two, Øyvind Andersen and Ben Sisko. There he is right in front of him. It's Audi versus Mustang. Four-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. Ben Sisko looking a bit shaky coming out of the Schumacher S. You'll want to keep hold of it. They're being very, very careful through these corners, I can see, but that's good. If they want to keep their nose out of trouble, that's good. That's what they want to do. That's what they've got to do. Big run coming out of the corner there for Andersen. He can't quite get it alongside Ben Sisko just yet. He'll try, excuse me, he'll try for the chicane. Pulls out of it. Ben Sisko's giving him room, which is good to see. Jakobsen keeps appearing on our screen every now and again as a retiree. We know he's retired due to a connection issue, and that's probably what's keeping him out of the standings there at the moment. Oh, Sisko looking very shaky there. That gets Øyvind Andersen past and into 9th place. A slight mistake from Sisko, and Andersen capitalises on that. The Norwegian takes 9th place. Ben Sisko doesn't look to be in a hurry to get that back at the moment. But if we know Ben Sisko, and I know Ben Sisko quite well, he's happy to be finishing the race. That's what he goes for above all. And I assume Andersen's done the same today, as he's kept his nose relatively clean today. Not being at the forefront of the battling, but he's in 9th place. You can't complain. I'm sure he isn't. Now, Tonga Guardia. Now, I'm keeping an eye on his time difference between him and Hågom, and it's getting bigger and then shrinking and bigger and then shrinking. It's very, very strange at the moment. Guardia seems to hook up some good pace, but when things get a little bit too far, or they get a little bit out of hand for him, and he struggles to hang on to it by the looks of it. But when he hooks up good pace, he's very, very good against Hågom and Lee Horn. Now he's within 5 seconds again of Hågom. It did get to an 8-second gap at some point in the last minute or two. But when, as I said, when Guardia hooks up good lines, no spins, no slides, he is very, very quick. Hågom just disappearing behind the fence. There's big gaps between all these drivers now, with the exception of what we're watching here, Guardia and Hågom. Ben Sisko is just dropping back more and more from Andersen now. Oh, looking very shaky through there was Guardia. He's hanging on for grim death. It's a very, very damaged car. He cannot risk hitting the barrier and damage his car too much, having to retire it. That will be the end of a very, very promising race from the Argentinian. He's within 3 seconds. Hågom's had a little bit of a difficult corner there. Now, that is Navaluf in the pits. He's got a safe buffer between him and Plummer. Now, someone's retired. Dereshki's out. Dereshki is out. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but that was looking so good for Dereshki, and he's now out of the race. It will probably... he's showing him as 11th there, but he's done more laps than Kevin Smith. That is such a shame from the Brit. He was doing so well. 9 races remain in this race, though. It's really taken its toll on these drivers, this race today. We go back to Tonga Guardia now. Yeah, such a shame for Lucas. He was looking real good. We keep our eyes on Tonga Guardia. He's nearly within a second now. It's so close. Oh, I can't tell if that's ping issues or sliding about all over the place with Tonga. He is in Argentina at the end of the day. His connection is not going to be quite as strong as, well, the European drivers here. He's close now. Fourth is back on the cards for Guardia, you have to say. He can't really make many more mistakes. He must be on the limit of what that car's damage threshold is capable of. These two are battling again. They've been the source of some great battling so far in this race. It's been great to watch. It's been great to watch Tonga Guardia in this race. It's been great to watch Horgom in this race. They've been the epicenter of some good battling between themselves and Lee Horn and Derek Robb earlier on in the race, and Emil Holmberg. Can't forget him. Here goes Tonga. Will he have the drive? That Mercedes badge targeting the Ford badge on the rear. A little bit of an ease off to go around that kink. He can't quite get enough to get alongside him. It's probably not the ideal place to get alongside him. Guardia, oh, getting very close there. Oh, now these cars don't like the curbs. It's very tricky to watch these guys take the curbs on dying tyres. Roy Plummer, I can see, is in the pits, but just to cut to him, yeah, he's in the pits now. He's got to get this would be a worrying moment for Roy Plummer and fans of Roy Plummer, because he struggled with the pit limiter. And speaking of pits, the pit stops will be coming up. The final pit stops of the race for most drivers will be coming up soon, I imagine. We watch the battle for fourth place. Horgom goes wide. Tonga Guardia backs out of a potential overtake there. At this point on the Nordschleife, you wait for the driver in front to make a mistake. Horgom's going very wide right around these corners, losing a lot of shape. Tonga Guardia is hooking these corners up a little bit better. He looks to the outside. Horgom goes to the inside and lets him go to prevent spinning. Tries to recover himself. Still looking. Roy Plummer has exited the pits. I think he's okay. Yep, he's okay. He's got it right this time. That's good to see from Roy Plummer. He's got it finally, and it remains himself in 7th place. Oh, Horgom very sideways coming out the corner there. The tail end of the lap here. Cashbrink will be starting a new lap now. Yes, it is. He was start lap 11 now. But we keep our eyes on this. Guardia we know is quicker than Horgom, but Guardia's made more mistakes in this race. And we may see the gap just open up here. Horgom trying desperately to get everything he can out of that car. Little mistakes like that, that's what's going to make Horgom catch back up with Guardia. As he goes for the move, he's going to take every chance he can. Sweeping right-hander here. Oh, a bit of contact there, I think, between the two. Guardia letting him go. Horgom's wide. Lets him back through. Oh, Guardia getting out of shape still. Big battle this. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Horgom can catch up with Guardia. I don't think that's where he'll want to be. I'm pretty sure he wants to be right behind Guardia to try and catch him. Either that, or he's trying to stay out of the way of Guardia. William Foyle is in the pits, just to report on that. That'll be his final pit stop of the day. Will Foyle leaves the pits now. Lee Horn is within touching distance now of William Foyle. I don't know if he's quicker. Don't think he will be, but let's just keep our eyes on Tonga Guardia. He has been a bit shaky through this section. He hooks it up quite well here. Is he going to come in the pits? No, he isn't. Lee Horn is coming out of turn 2 a bit sideways there. Now, William Foyle going around the 4th curve there. I think that's the 4th curve. One of the 2 corners I know on this track. Yeah, Lee Horne's not far behind at all. And a 10-second gap now between... that'd be why Horgom's decided to pit now. Now, he might try and get the jump on Guardia. That might be what he's thinking here. He might be thinking, fresh boots, let's see if we can get the jump on him when Guardia eventually comes in the pits. I mean, it's a long lap. If you're on fresh boots and you can get the upper hand, you will get a lot of position gain. Or a lot of gap gain. I don't know the word I'm looking for. So Horgom's the only one in the pits now. Oyvind Anderson we saw leaving the pits. Concedes the position back to Ben Sisko, but I'm assuming Ben Sisko will have to come in the pits again at some point. Having said that, Oyvind Anderson is not too far from Ben Sisko. I mean, it says nearly a minute on our screens, but I... Oh, then again, yeah, actually, yeah, it is more like that. Shut up, Alex. Horgom's still in the pits. It's a gap of more than a minute now to Guardia. Oh! Flamboyancy is Guardia's star by the looks of it. He's on my rally team, so his pedigree's coming out here. You've got Rally Hungary to do at some point today, Tonga. But he's hungry for more positions here today. Horgom leaves the pits. He's got a minute 20 between him and Guardia. I assume Horgom has taken on 2 sets of tyres. I think taking on 2 sets of tyres plus fuel uses up a pit stop amount of around about a minute. Just shy of a minute, I believe. So that's obviously what he's done. Now, what he's going to try and do now is get a big lap in here to see if he can get Guardia on pace now. Now, there's assuming Guardia, who's snaking about all over the place, there's assuming Guardia will take on 4 fresh boots. He's very unpredictable when it comes to pit stop strategies. I do remember in the Spa 50, while a lot of drivers were taking a 3-stop strategy, he took a 1-stop strategy, staying out on dead tyres, and he nearly got himself a top 10 out of it. But a spin on the 3/4 point of that race dropped him down. He is one to look out for. Lee Horne to report on him. 6.5 away from William Foyle. I've been keeping an eye on the relative between him and William Foyle. There we go. That's a nice addition to this race. I'll have to see if he can start to catch up. Now, if you look at the last lap times, are they last lap times? They're fastest lap times between the two. William Foyle can go quicker. 6 seconds between them. 6.5. Now, it's pretty difficult to compare times, gaps on this track because some cars are better on certain points of this track. Certain drivers suit certain parts of this track more than others, less than others. Now we're approaching 20 minutes to go. 90% of this race nearly up. If you are on YouTube watching this race, guys, please give us a comment of who you think so far is driver of the day. I'm going to nominate a few for it. I'm going to suggest, well, the obvious. Michel Casperink has been dominant in this race. I'm also going to suggest Tonga Guardia for driver of the day as he laps Ben Sisko here. He's been brilliant and he's been entertaining today. Lucas Jureczki is one to mention as well, as he was keeping it well clean and hooking up good position increases as the race has gone by. But yeah, please let us know in the comments who you truly think is the driver of the day. If none of you say anything, I'll vote myself. Let's look at Lee Horne again. Still around a 6-second gap between these two. I'm pretty sure Lee Horne still needs to pit though. I think. Tonga Guardia is about half a minute back from Lee Horn. And Horgom is losing time still to Tonga Guardia, even though he's got fresh boots on. So Tonga's looking good for 4th place. It's whether Lee Horn needs to come in the pits. That's what's going to affect his strife for 2nd place and his defending of 3rd place. Could all come down to one mistake with the addition of coming into the pits. Lee Horn looking a bit shaky there as he approaches the banked corner. It's opening up between Horn and William Foyle. Foyle looking good for 2nd place with no more pit stops to take, I'm presuming, from William Foyle. The gap between Lee Horn and Guardia fluctuates all the time. It was under half a minute, it's now over half a minute. In fact, it keeps creeping up and up and up and up. His chances at 3rd getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer for Tonga. Lee Horn has done a brilliant job to get himself back into this position after a disastrous first lap and a couple of dodgy moments in this race. A few spins here and there. When he actually has 2nd place in his sights right now, pending any pit stops from him, he actually has a gap to consider possible at this point. Couple of votes for driver of the day. Kasperink is a big vote at the moment. Guardia's got a vote. A vote for Lee Horn, driver of the day. Yeah, absolutely. He's done well to get himself into this place right now, and it's not even over for him to try and get 2nd place. The gap is too hard to predict. It's too hard to predict whether Horn will catch Foyle. He's done good on this final split of this lap, has Lee Horn. You just keep your eye on that gap between them. Tonga Guardia is also reeling in Lee Horn ever so slightly. He's got it from 33 seconds down to 29 seconds in the last minute or so. Time's running out for Lee Horn though. You will have 2 more laps. These drivers will have 2 more laps, I think. Oh, Kasperink will be very close to being able to do this in 2 laps. It might even have to go to a 3rd. Now, that might be a spanner in the works. These drivers might have anticipated fuel to do 14 laps. Probably not 15. Lee Horn has spun. Oh dear. Well, I'm sorry to say, Lee Horn fans, as he comes into the pits. Now, if he was planning to do that anyway, that would have been, if he was planning to come into the pits anyway, that would have been 2nd out of the window anyway. But I suppose this goes back to a battle for 3rd. Tonga Guardia stays out. Ooh. Ooh, this is interesting. I did say earlier on, Tonga Guardia is it's so difficult to predict what he's going to do pit strategy wise. He's very innovative when it comes to it. He likes to drive the car on old tyres. Whatever car he's in, he likes to drive it on old tyres just to get less pit stops in his race. That's how he ticks. I haven't seen him in the pits for a long time. He must need to come in at some point. Lee Horn. We sit with him. Just to keep an eye on Christian Horgom, who's approaching the end of the lap. He is assuming he will also need to come in the pits. Lee Horn leads the pits. He's got a drive-through penalty. Lee Horn has come out the pits with a drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane. What's Christian Horgom going to do? If he's going to come into the pits now, that gives it back to Lee, but Lee might have written off any chance of getting third place now. Tonga, excuse me, Tonga Guardia would have seen that come up on his HUD. He can't be making mistakes like that. Oh, he just about saves it. But Tonga Guardia now has a big opportunity for third place as Lee Horn accumulates a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, it was looking so good for Lee. It's not been happening for next-gen drivers today when it comes to the pit lane. Now, if Horgom is yet to come in as well, that would be fine for Lee Horn. That would be absolutely fine for him. But if Horgom... We did see Horgom come in and get fresh boots all round. I think we did. I've lost track of who's pitted and what they've done. It's very difficult to figure out. Lee Horn's gone out on soft tyres as well, just to point out. So, Tonga Guardia's still out there on old soft tyres, presumably. But he's got a 55-second gap to Lee Horn, who not only has accumulated that penalty, going wide a bit there, he did spin at the end of the lap previous, before he came in the pits. So it all plays back into the favour of Guardia for third place right now, who will have at least one more pit stop to take. He's safe from Horgom. But he's not safe from Horn just yet. Well, actually, if Guardia comes in now and takes on a full set of rubber and full fuel, which he won't need to take on full fuel, to point out, but if he did, that will mean they come out at almost exactly the same time. It's about 55 seconds for everything, but he'll only need... Let's just see where Kasparink is. He might only need 2 laps of fuel. Anyone who pits now at this point will probably only need 2 laps of fuel. Foyle is definitely safe in second place there. He's pulled away from Guardia ever so slightly. We haven't mentioned Will much in this latter part of the race. It's been a bit of a somber drive here for William Foyle. He's managing well ahead of the rest of the pack, but he just can't seem to do anything about the Dutch dynamite up here, which is Kasparink. Nearly, he is a minute and 3/4 ahead of second place. He's lapped a lot of the field. Just have a look at the track map to see who he has lapped. So Kasparink's out there. He just lapped Roy Plummer. So 6th upwards are still on the same lap as him. Now at the end of the race, when the checkered flag starts waving, once that time expires, there's 6 minutes to take the checkered flag, which is not a full lap, to point out. If you don't take the checkered flag, you fall a lap behind. That's one of the drawbacks of Raceroom, I suppose. On a track like this, anyway. I might be wrong about that. I will check. Oh, it's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes, so that's plenty of time, yeah. So drivers probably will get a chance to complete the race. Not many. There are a few lapping over 10 minutes, but that might be due to pit stops. Right, let's get a sit rep on the field. So Kasparink leads. Now Kasparink is approaching the end of this lap. If that creeps under 9 minutes before he gets to the start-finish line, we'll have 1 lap to go. We'll cut back to Kasperinck soon. William Foyle in 2nd place. Nothing more he could have done here. He wasn't even... William Foyle spins just as we look at him there. Oh, that was close. Don't think he's done too much damage. There's not much denting on his bodywork at the moment, but my, that was a shavy, scary moment. Shavy, I don't know what shavy is, but he's currently in 2nd place. A comfortable and increasing gap ahead of Tonga Guardia in 3rd place, who looks set to be taking 3rd place. We'd written him off about half an hour ago, as Lee Horn looked very good for a 3rd place, but a mistake and speeding in the pit lane has cost him this. If he doesn't need to come in, but 5th place here, Hågon, who's got a fellow Mustang right behind him. He's just lapped of Øyvind Andersen. Hågon will know what's going to happen. Hågon's the only one who knows here. I'm pretty sure he will have to come in. There's only, if we go back to Kasperinck, he's in the pits, but Kasperinck is, right, he's safe. But it will mean he only has 1 lap to go, because he hasn't finished this lap yet. So there will be 1 lap to go from these drivers. So to get back to things, Hågon 5th place. Now, it's undecided yet if he's going to end up in 4th place. Like Kasperinck, he might need to come in at the end of this lap. Lee Horn won't, but Guardia might, is another to think about. 6th place, Navalov. It's been a very lonely race, lonely second half to this race for him, as it has with Roy Plummer in 7th place, who had pit stop troubles in this race. It might have been a bit better for him had he not had those issues. Øyvind Andersen in 8th place. He started at the back, 19th place, just to point out. I think it was 19th place he started, and he's just kept himself out of trouble. There's a bit of bodywork damage there, but a good drive from him, as with Ben Sisko. Now, Ben Sisko, I will point out, Ben Sisko has cancer, sadly to mention, and he has trouble feeling his hands and feeling his feet. Driving, pedals and steering wheel, driving the Nordschleife in DTM cars, and with that, the powerful Audi. Brilliant from Ben Sisko, just to get it here. He's not the fastest driver on the track, no, he isn't, but he's got it to the end under all them circumstances, so a big bravo to him. A very good friend of mine, a very, very good competitor of Exiled Leagues is Ben Sisko, Frank Tennant otherwise known as, so a big bravo to him. Kasperinck is your leader by about a minute from William Foyle. Tonga Guardia is approaching the end of the lap. We'll keep an eye on him. William Foyle stays out. He's within a minute of Kasperinck. Kasperinck probably came in just to get fresh rubber and a little bit of fuel as a just in case. Foyle. Sorry, Guardia. What will he do? Guardia is coming into the pits. Oh, he's going to have to slow that down a lot. My word, he was late on the brakes there. Right, so this is the key part of the race. Horn has a drive-through penalty to serve as he decreases the gap now as Guardia coasts down the pits. Guardia will not want to speed in this pit lane now. He will not want to. Now he enters his pit slot. Horn will have to come in the pits. He has to serve a speeding in the pit lane penalty. There's only 1 light is working on the BMW. This also is crucial to Hågon's race. He's 40 seconds back. It might not be enough to catch Horn on a drive-through alone. Why isn't Horn coming into the pits? Guardia's left the pits already. Maybe he only took on fuel and not tyres, but Guardia stays out. I'm really confused right now. I wish I knew, ladies and gentlemen. I really wish I knew, but I don't. Guardia is now out. He must have only taken on fuel because that was nowhere near enough time in the pits for tyres. But he's comfortably 3rd right now. Well, he's not. He's not actually comfortable in third. One mistake, one spin will be enough for Lee Horn to pass. But Lee Horn, I'm pretty sure, will have to come in the pits. I'm really unsure of what's going on. We saw it. He's got a drive-through penalty. I really, honestly, people, I wish I knew. We approach the end of this race. Kasparink is halfway around the lap. Before we get on to the tail end of this race, I myself like to thank everyone for watching today. My final race as an admin with Exiled. I don't want this final lap to be all about me. I'm not going to make it all about me, but I do want to just thank everyone for supporting Exiled while I've been a part of it, and I hope you do continue to support Exiled when I'm not here. I'm still going to be here as a driver, but not as an admin. Maybe I'll do some more streams and broadcasts for Exiled in the future, but yeah, this is the final moments of me as an admin. Yeah, thank you very much everyone for watching. I'm going to announce the driver of the day now, and well, there really are a lot of candidates for this. We did say Ben Sisko, the circumstances, the pain he must be in, and all that. You know, he's driven a good race to get here. Keep it going. Looking a bit slow. It does look like he's struggling. I hope he can. Oh, please don't be out of fuel. Either that or the engine's knackered. He's still increasing his speed. It might just be a knackered engine. We also said Tonga Guardia has been the source of such drama in this race. Great battles and brilliant moments, scary moments from Tonga. He's been brilliant to watch, but I just cannot not give this Driver of the Day award to Michel Kasparink for a stunning, stunning drive today. Yeah, Ben Payne, just looking at the comments, I'll reply to that in a minute. That's a very, very good point. But Michel Kasparink is our driver of the day. It's no surprise, really. Lights to now, well, Foyle has led 1 or 2 laps in this race, but Kasparink has led the race for pretty much the entirety. We kind of knew this was going to happen based on the practice and qualifying time that he's been setting. And he hasn't made a single mistake. We haven't seen any. So there we go, driver of the day is Michel Kasparink. Let's just keep an eye on Ben Sisko. Now, Ben Sisko must have just been going, it must be engine issues. I do wonder if he's, you know, feeling the strain a little bit. It's a long way into this race and he's just trying to get it round this lap to the end. But an impressive 9th place, I'm going to say, from Ben Sisko. Kasparink is on the final part of the final lap. He's not far from the end. William Foyle, 2nd place at the moment, with a minute cushion behind him to Tonga Guardia. Now, the next driver to mention, Lee Horn, hang on a minute. Navlov's in the pits. His name went blank. He is in the pits. He's putting on a bit more fuel. He's got a lot of time to do that. But yeah, Lee Horn, maybe he doesn't know he has a penalty. There is a little bit of issue with the UI where it doesn't pop up with penalties all the time. Particularly with VR users. Lee Horn might be one of them. And I don't think it will count if he goes in the pits to finish off this final lap. Horgom is in 5th place. Navalov 6th place. Roy Plummer will come through in 7th. Or even Danderson 8th. And Ben Sisko again 9th. But Michel Kasparink not far from the end here. We haven't looked at him much in this race. We haven't needed to. As he gets past the back marker there. I think that might have been Roy Plummer. Yes, it was. The Dutchman who came into the XTCR season about halfway through, lit it up with blistering pace and finishing 7th in the standings in the end. Has shown what he's made of in what's my final race with Exiled. He comes around the final tricky corner of the, well, it's not the final tricky corner. He's got a big straight to go up here. A little bit of a victory parade as he takes his time to get up here. I imagine he'll just, for caution, brake super early for this next part of the track to make sure he gets through without any drama. Nothing else happening on track according to the director suggestions, which is when there's drama happening, take a look at it. It's kind of a prompt for me. Kasprink comes through the final few corners. Nice and easy around this last one. He takes the final corner. Michel Kasprink is your DTM 92 Endurance winner. Flashes his lights, goes through his cruise. He comes across the line to finish it. Superb stuff from the Dutchman. Our winner today. That was Roy Plummer finishing his race next. Just to check who's coming next, it will be William Foyle next. But the gap between Guardia and Horn isn't exactly... Horn spun. He was catching up with Guardia, but he spun. More drama still. William Foyle on his final blast towards the finish. He hasn't had the most glamorous of races, but he's done all he can. He's done well against the people behind him, and there was nothing more he could do with the person in front. Nice and easy round this final corner. William Foyle will take a 100% podium record, FYI, in these endurance races. William Foyle will take second place here at the Nordschleife. Tonga Guardia, what a race this guy has had. It's been up and down all afternoon long. It's quite early in the morning, by the way, for Argentina. So credit to him for getting up early. Nice coffee, orange juice to get himself rearing to go here. But Tonga Guardia, the Argentinian, the Talares, he likes to call himself, after the football team he supports. He's on the final stretch coming home, just to check if anyone else has come across the line. No one has. It's very much in order from here on. We go on board. Tonga Guardia only has a few more corners to go to taste the champagne. We'd written him off twice in this race, but he has not given up. Luck has played his favour at times. Determination has paid him in others. He'll come through in third place with a very notable drive. Here he comes. Second of the Mercs, third of the field. Tonga Guardia finishes third place for Argentina. Lee Horn next. Lee Horn's coming into the pits. There's a couple of drivers coming in the pits. Who is that? Lee Horn? Who's in front of him? Who's that in front of him? Roy Plummer? Yeah, Roy Plummer coming into the pits there. Oh, it might be the GP. Yeah, that's... yeah. Right, so this is Lee Horn presumably serving his penalty. Now, where's Horgom? Miles behind. Miles behind. Lee Horn will come through. He's across the line. I believe he's finished the race. That's Roy Plummer back in the pits. He has finished 6th place. He'll lose a lap, but he's through in 6th place. He will, yeah, he is, sorry, he is through in 7th place. Here's Christian Horgom to come through in 5th place. He's been an exciting one to watch today in this race, and a return to Exiled. Good job from him today. Navalov will be next. No, he won't. I think it'll be Øyvind Andersen next through. Yep, Øyvind Andersen will be next through. It's just been a conservative drive from Øyvind and Ben Sisko, in fact. Both started near the back. Yeah, Leon taking his penalty in the pits, doing a Schumacher. Oh dear. Quite the comparison. Yes, this is Øyvind Andersen to finish the race in 8th place. He'll be superbly pleased with that, I imagine. 2 left, Ben Sisko and Navaluf. Let's see if they manage to get it to the end before the time expires. They're on very similar parts of the track, but it will be Ben Sisko to come through first. But your winner, just to remind you, is Michel Kasperink, who's now in the pits. William Foyle's now in the pits. Tonga Guardia coming in. Lee Horn will be coming in. Horgon 5th. Navaluf and Ben Sisko still out there. Roy Plummer and Øyvind Andersen have finished their races. Just a reminder that Ben Sisko has health issues that really affect his feeling of the car. Sim or no sim, to do a 2-hour race in these beasts on this track is some going. Other driver yet to finish, not far behind, is Heike or Stefan Navaluf. Fairly new to Exiled, but he's shown some impressive performance in XTCR and today to take himself home in 6th place. I will see if we can pull Kasperink into the comms box. I have pulled in Michel Kasperink into the comms box. Michel, congratulations, you are the DTM 92 winner for Exiled. How do you feel?
Great. It was a great race. No big mistakes or anything. So yeah, solid race. Happy with it. Happy with the performance. Happy with the result. So
excellent.
Good job to William.
Yeah. Well, William tried his best, but to no avail. But we saw you take a lap very quickly, very late on in practice and qualifying. Was that your tactic all along? It's just, you know, surprise people and start them a little bit, or is it just?
Yeah. No, I opened the Twitter server and I knew, well, I can do that a couple of seconds faster. So there was no need to train on 1.5 hours in front. So it was not to surprise people, but just time saving, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've not much to say really. You just let lights to finish. Just want to say finally, congratulations, Michel. You are the DTM 92 winner.
Thanks, and thank you for the commentary for the race. It was great to see the stream. At least I saw the finish, so that's nice. Thanks, Alec.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michel. We'll catch you soon. There we go. And just in the nick of time, Ben Sisko. Well, I'm not sure why Lee Horn is still out on the track. I'm not sure why he hasn't taken him into the pits. But Ben Sisko will come through to finish. I think Øyvind Andersen... I don't think Øyvind Andersen did finish there, but I'm not sure. We'll find out. But Ben Sisko comes through to finish in 8th place. In fact, Øyvind Andersen must have made a mistake somewhere. Is he in the pits? Yeah, it's retired, but he's retired him, but it's a 9th place, regardless, for Øyvind Andersen. And we might have to wait for the time to expire for the official results to appear. It's mixed up the results a little bit here. These are not the results that's happened. Definitely not. Kasperink is our winner. And we've got... I can't quite see. We'll just have to wait until the results come up. Just to run through a list of the retirees in this race, a little bit of honourable mention for turning up and give it a good go today. Those Kevin Smith, Lucas Dureshki, Ben Payne, Derek Robb, Eunice Tursanen, Martin Stabile, Alex Foyle, Ian Deeney, and Emil Holmberg. And of course, Alexander Jakobsen, who has had some form of a disconnection. He would be on the screens there. He'll be in our results post-race. But your top 3 in this race were Michel Kasperink, William Foyle, and Tonga Guardia. Lee Horn giving us a lap of honour here. I mean, once you cross the line to finish your race, your lap's out of, it goes out of control. It does the driving for you, but taking the honours of an extra lap here is Lee Horn. But yeah, Christian Horgom in the comments there mentioning that it was a good battle for the top 3. It was an exceptional battle for the top 3 between 5 people at one point where there we go, we'll talk about that in a sec, but it is a 90-second penalty for Lee Horn. He failed to serve his penalty. That'll drop into 5th, but your winner is Michel Kasperink, fastest lap as well. William Foyle takes 2nd with Tonga Guardia 3rd. Christian Horgom will take 4th. Lee Horn with the 90-second penalty, failing to serve a penalty 5th. Navaluf 6th. Plummer 7th, Anderson 8th, and Ben Sisko 9th. They were the finishers today. Kevin Smith 10th. Alexander Jakobsen is in 11th there with a disconnect. Lucas Jurecki 12th. Ben Payne 13th. Derek Robb 14th. Jonas Tursinen is 15th. Martin Stabile 16th. 17th is Alex Foyle. Ian Deeney 18th. And 19th with a DQ due to not serving, too many penalties, Emil Holmberg. So there we go, guys. Thank you very much for being a part of Exiled. Thank you very much for being a part of this stream today. I've been Alex Everett, your admin and your commentator today and the past 18 months. We'll see you whenever we see you next. Thank you very much.